Okay, welcome back. We are going to be doing another score chase challenge. We've already gotten over 1,000,000 points on Balloon Fight and gotten over 1,000,000 points on Mario Bros. Now we are doing another NES Black Box Score Chaser challenge on the NES Classic Mini. We are doing over 700,000 points earned legitimately in Super Mario Bros. And what that means is we cannot use the Koopa Shell trick to rack up infinite points. That is score inflating. All the points have to be earned legitimately. And that also means that we are not going to be doing we can't lose any lives. Because if you lose a life, it is a way of like artificially inflating your score. Because you get to replay a chunk of a level, your score doesn't reset. Ah, just missed the fireworks bonus. So all the points have to be earned legitimately, and this is basically going to be a absolute points scoring clinic. Even though I'm off to kind of a rough start. Missed the double pancake, missed the fireworks show. And I'll be honest, I will be glad when this score chasing challenge is finished, because this one I have been struggling with. I thought I'd have it done, you know, maybe 1 or 2 days of grinding an hour a day. No, this one has been, I think I'm on over a week now. So kind of frustrated with this one, because this one requires really precise and tight execution to be able to, you know, pull off getting all those points without dying. And basically I want to get on pace so that by World 7-1 I have over 600,000 points by that threshold, and then I can kind of take my foot off the gas a little bit. Alright, there we go. Got the fireworks bonus. And I know what you're thinking. Super Mario Bros. Is not a game that comes to mind when you think of score chasing. Especially on the Black Box series, you're more likely thinking of games like Donkey Kong Jr. or Popeye, or maybe even the original Mario Bros. But Super Mario Bros., this was the pack-in game for the Nintendo Entertainment System. Tons of us had this game and beat it. And that's all we used to care about back then, was being able to beat it. But that's also kind of the point, though, like, you know, because so many of us owned this game and so many of us beat it, you know, it's really not that impressive anymore to just be able to beat it. It's more impressive to be able to get a high score in the process. Alright, so looks like we're gonna finish World 1 just under 100,000 points. I'd like to be over 100,000 points, but that's okay. We're still very much on pace. You know, the score is like a numerical indicator. How well did you dominate the game? So to be able to beat the game without losing any lives, you know, and rack up a score of 700,000, I think that's really impressive. That means you really didn't pass up that many opportunities to score. Like, look at this, we're already over 110,000. That's also something that I really like about this game, is that you're just, you know, especially if you are a competent player, you're just constantly racking up points, your score is constantly going up, up. And I realized the other way of measuring how well you dominated the game is the speed run, and that's what retro gamers are really more interested in. It's not as interesting to, you know, be able to rack up a super high score in a game of Super Mario Bros. What they really want is they want to see you beat it as quickly as possible. In a game like Super Mario Bros. Just missed the bonus again. But a game like Super Mario Bros, the speedrunning record, and I don't even remember who has it, but it's at the absolute limit. I think maybe you could shave off, it's like 4 minutes and 50-something seconds with all the perfectly executed frame-perfect glitches. They're at the point now where all they can do is shave off maybe a frame here. Like, taking the record down another second would be like a monumental achievement, if it's possible. Alright, we're basically turning this level into a shooting gallery. Trying to rack up points without wasting too much time on this level. Okay, we're over 150,000. This is basically where I like to be at this point of the game, so pretty happy about the pace. Hate this level. Alright, so how many of you know about the Atari Activision patches? I only just recently learned about them, and I'm kind of surprised I'd never heard of them prior. The Atari Point patches, so when you got a game like, yeah, I was watching Todd Rogers' allegedly fraudulent high score in, oh gosh, what was the game? Dragster, published by Activision for the Atari 2600. And then I went down the rabbit hole, you know, because I'm in the quote-unquote retro gamer retirement community, where all I care about now is score chasing. So I started watching Mike and Bootsy from Cinemassacre playing Stampede, another score chaser for the Atari 2600, published by Activision. And it looked like a really fun score chaser. Alright, over 200,000 points by the end of World 2. Very much on pace, where I like to be. But then I started watching, you know, because Stampede looked interesting, I started watching the the No Swear Gamers channel. I was watching him play Stampede and his review of it. And he mentioned that if you got 3,000 points in Stampede, you qualified for the patch. And I was curious, I had no idea what that was, so I went on Google to see what that was all about. And, okay, so, you know, you got a game like, Stampede, for, you know, just for simplicity's sake, for your Atari 2600 back in the early 1980s or whatever. What was the whole purpose of that game? It was to get as high a score as possible, and, you know, then what? You show it off to your friends at school or your siblings for bragging rights. Tell them, hey, I got over 3,000 points in Stampede, and they would say, well, you know, that's great. Nobody cares. Can you prove it? And with Activision, these Activision games like Stampede, the answer was yes. What you could do is they printed in the, I believe it was in the instruction manual, a points challenge, that if you got a certain number of points, in the case of Stampede it was 3,000, you would take a Polaroid of your score, mail it in to the address, which I think was also provided on the in the instruction manual, and they would send you a patch for that game. Each one of the games that was part of this program had its own patch that you could earn, and I just thought that was the coolest thing in the world. They would send, and they would also send you a letter congratulating you on your high score. But to receive something like actual, you know, actually like tangible in the mail to prove that you were able to do it, that's awesome. Kind of surprised Nintendo didn't do that with, you know, any of their black box games. Like if you got, you know, 1,000,000 points, or, well, maybe not 1,000,000, but a couple 100,000 in like Donkey Kong or something, they would send you something. The only thing they did that was at all like that was print your score in Nintendo Power, but I'd rather have the patch. Alright, so this level is the first of the ones where we have to be very precise with our execution so we can rack up as many points. There we go, there's one down. But basically we want to finish this level with over 300,000 points. Oh, and I goofed it up. Oh no, I didn't goof it up. This one, it's okay to... I mean, we missed a couple of points, but that's okay. That one koopa I can never get. This is the one you need, though. Alright, so we finished the board over 300,000 points. Still very much on a very good pace. Okay, so getting back to the Atari point patches. So, I found a forum of old Atari gamers online, and they published on their forum, yeah, there's a thread with the full list of the games that had the patches, what the patch you would win was, and how many points you had to score to get that patch. And what they will do is they will actually recognize, if you can, I guess, prove that you got the score, they will recognize it. They will print it on, they will publish it on the forum. They won't send you the patch, but But what you can do is you can buy your own, and, you know, it's kind of the same thing as earning it, I guess. So here's my plan. This is my Retro Gamer New Year's resolution. I am going to get an old... First, I'm going to try and join the forum. I've already submitted my information. Hopefully they admit me. Then I am going to get in... Sometime around Valentine's Day, I'll get a working old Atari 2600. I'm gonna get some games. We'll get Stampede, River Raid. Sequest also looks like fun to score chase on. And then we're going to get the scores, we're going to get the patches, and we're going to get ourselves published on that forum. I know it's a totally dorky thing to do, but when you hit the Retro Gamer retirement home, this is what you do. Alright, let's see if I can get the 5,000 points on this one. This one I mess up all the time. Now, unfortunately, because the Atari 2600 uses coaxial hookup, I don't know that I'll be able to record game footage of it. We'll see if we can figure something out. So how about that? Does that sound like a silly idea? What I want to do is, you know, if you were a real dork back in the day, I guess you would, you know, get as many of the patches as you could and put it on, like, your jacket sleeve. The patches that I'm able to earn, I will put, like, on a really... I'll put in, like, a nice case. I'll make a nice case for them. Alright, over 400,000, over the halfway point of the game. Definitely well within pace. And I do realize that these pulleys, you can get 1,000 points if you stand on them and knock the platforms off, but I really don't like doing that. That can go south fast. I find it like half the time that causes me to lose a life, so not interested. It's only 1,000 points. We'll find another way to get those points. And this one I mess up very often. Yeah, I'm never able to get the full 5,000 points on that one. Okay, this is the first of the Labyrinth Castles. This one and World, the King Koopa Castle in World 7, 7-4. Let's draw him out of hiding. Okay, so coming up on 5-1, this is another level that we can rack up a lot of points. Don't know if we'll be able to get to 500,000, but we'll get a lot of points on this board. This is another one that you can't afford to make a mistake on this one if you want to be on pace for that 700,000 point game. There we go, that's what we want to do. Not worth it. Alright, getting close to 600,000. Very tempting to go down that pipe, but we have Coin Heaven coming up here. Missed a coin, that's okay, because we are on our way to 500,000 points. And admittedly, I'm not, doing what I normally normally do to scratch more points together on those Koopa shells, but whatever. Alright, so 5-3. I believe this is one of my least favorite levels. This is the one with... It's a repeat of 1-3, but with Bullet Bill, and he tends to show up exactly where we don't need him constantly. And I don't even stomp Bullet Bill for points, because I find that sometimes, you know, you'll land on him the way you're supposed to defeat him and get the points. And for whatever reason, the game does not recognize it. You take the damage. There. That's the least... If you're, you know, zipping through and you go fast, he will appear there and you will take damage. I hate that. Okay, 5-3's done. I also tend to take damage on this Koopa Castle. We're going to try to get through this one without losing the flower. Okay. Alright, let's try and draw out King Koopa. And I know, he's called Bowser, but in the instruction manual they refer to him as King Koopa. Alright, so we kept the flower through 5-4, so I feel pretty good going into 6-1. I also feel pretty good about being able to get to over 600,000 by the time we get to 7-1. And there is a flower there, but we will not bother with that. Now, 6-3 is going to give me problems because that one is the one with... It's a repeat of 2-3. Only it has Koopas to complicate things, so we're going to do our best on... Whoa. I believe this is our last trip to Coin Heaven. So let's make it a good one, get as many coins as possible. Alright, over 600,000, so we can take our foot off the gas now and just try to survive. And I apologize, I had it wrong. 6-3 is, this one does give me trouble because you have to be very precise with your jumps. And there is a section where Bullet Bill will show up and make my life a total nightmare. Absolutely hate those platforms. Absolutely hate Bullet Bill. Okay, whew. Gotta clutch up on that level. Okay, 1 and 2. There we go. Oh, there's 3 of them. Alright, whatever. We're just gonna try and survive this one. Gotta watch out because I believe he has hammers now. Whoa, just made it. Alright. And I can relax on trying to rack up points because now I just need to survive. Not even gonna take the temptation to get some points from a Buzzy Beetle. Yeah, but 7-3, that's the one that I'm gonna have to be careful on. The one with the Cheep Cheeps. Or, excuse me, yeah, the flying Cheep Cheeps with the Koopas. And I don't even really care about taking out the Cheep Cheeps, but gotta take out the bloopers. You know, if we can take out Cheep Cheeps without wasting too much time, that's fine, but the bloopers, those are the ones that give you a headache. They're like homing missiles for you. let's... Time to lock in on this board. Ugh. Would have liked to have not taken that hit, but at least we are Super Mario. And I believe we are over 700,000 points. Yep, so now we can just focus on finishing. Finish strong. Every point after this is just icing on the cake. I think it is bottom, middle, top. Oops, screwed that one up. Ugh, almost made it. And that sucks, because now I'm going to go into 8-1 without any power-ups, and I don't believe there are any power-ups in 8-1. So basically you're looking at having to do 8-1 and a massive chunk of 8-2 without power-ups, so gotta really lock in and clutch for the next couple parts of the game. Not even going to worry about these points. No, sir. We've got our points. We can just focus on finishing. In fact, I'm not even going to worry about those, because I know that this is one of those boards that you can run out of time on. And the game just tempting me with all kinds of points. Okay, just gotta finish. Don't worry about the time or the fact that the music's going fast. Alright, gotta lock in for the next level. If I can finish 8-2 with a mushroom, I can knock this out. Whew, I'm sorry, I am locked in right now. I apologize for going quiet. I really want to finish this level with the mushroom. Oh, very lucky. I thought that was it. Okay, finished with the mushroom. Now on to 8-3. There we go. Oh, we got the flower. Now, as long as we don't have any mishaps with a Bullet Bill or a Hammer Brother Man, there we go. Alright, final castle. Got a flower. Just gotta lock in. 3-4-3 is the pattern. One, two, then 4. Plenty of time. Then 3, and this one's the tough one. I think this is one of the cheap cheeps. 1, 2, 3. Alright, underwater. Let's go. This is underwater levels. We're gonna do it. Oh no. Come on, jump. There we go. Come on. Yes! Alright. Final score, 769,550 points. Challenge done. I never have to play this game again. My goodness. So that is the high score. And it looks like with some optimization I could crack 800,000, but forget it. I'm done. The goal was 700,000. We crushed it. Whew, now I can finally score chase some other games, play some different games. Oh, alright. It's over. This was probably like my 75th attempt. My kids, who can hear me in the next room, probably got tired of listening to me repeat my same spiel over and over again. So, anyway, going into 2026, we're going to do the Patch Chase Challenge and some more scores. So, stay tuned. This is the 700,000 points earned legit, no lives lost playthrough on Super Mario Bros. we will do some more score chasing soon. See you later.